Hey there everyone, welcome back for another video review. Today I have The Walking Dead McFarlane Deluxe 10-inch action figure of Sheriff Rick Grimes. So for those of you that know or have seen my Daryl Dixon review, you know I was very displeased with that figure, considering even though the details were phenomenal, you know, the face, the likeness, the paint, the details in the clothing and the weapons, and everything was absolutely phenomenal, some of the best I've ever seen. The quality control was just off. You can't balance the figure, it won't stand, you can't fit the crossbow in his hands. There's whatever articulation is there, it won't even budge. So I've tried to turn away from McFarlane, you know, even with the Terminator lines and Predator lines. There are some really cool things, and other than General Giant's Walking Dead mini busts, these are really the only Walking Dead figures or collectibles I like and want to collect. So I'm really hoping Rick Grimes has a better turnout than Daryl did. And now with the announcement of Michonne, of course I'm probably going to order that as well. But we'll see, you know, how good or how bad they keep the quality control. So without further ado, let's get into Rick Grimes. So as you can see, it's the same window box packaging as Daryl Dixon. You see Rick standing with the gun in one of his poses over his head. I'm not a fan of that pose, actually. I don't remember when he ever stood in that pose, but as you can see in the left side, you know, he does come with another hand to hold with his pistol out. And I'm a little upset they did not include his sheriff hat. Not sure why that was not included, unless he may be in there, but I don't see it anywhere. Looking over here, we see Deluxe action figure and The Walking Dead at the bottom with the Rick wrapping around the side of the box. On the side here, we see the figure again, 10-inch Rick Grimes. And on the back you can see the two poses of Rick Grimes you can have in this figure. One with the revolver pointing out, one with the rifle over his shoulders. And at the bottom you can see some of these smaller figures, I believe the 6-inch figures that are also available. And McFarlane Toys, AMC The Walking Dead, all those fun links. And over here we can see they're screwing with the wrong people, which was the last season, you know, ending, or the mid-season I should say, showing, no, was it? Mid-season? I'm a little bit off. Can't remember how long ago that was. But when they're in the train car and, you know, they're trying to break out and everything. So it is fairly up to date, but, you know, they are kind of slow on releasing these figures. But let's take them out of the package and get a closer look at this figure. Here we have Rick Grimes out of his packaging, and to my to my disbelief, he is standing. Holy shit, McFarlane, you actually made a figure of yours stand on its own. Like, I gotta zoom out on this. This is absolute insanity. He's actually standing on his own. And everything was easy. You know, the arm had a little bit difficulty getting in, but there's more articulation. Things actually move, or his limbs actually move. He's actually standing. I'm honestly in disbelief, because from Terminators to Predators to other Walking Dead figures, this has to be one of the best I've had the chance to own and review. I'm just really surprised, because as I mentioned earlier, McFarlane does a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal job on sculpting and detail and likeness and everything. But their quality control as far as, you know, balancing or posing and materials and just overall user friendliness or collector friendliness, I should say, just never hits the mark. And Rick Grimes, the Rick Grimes Deluxe 10-inch figure from The Walking Dead has hit that mark. So let's get a closer look. You know, I'll do a quick zoom in on everything right here, get that focused in. I'll try to adjust the lighting. Hopefully you can all see that. His pants are a dark gray, almost bluish color. You can see brown boots as well, working up. I wish I have to watch Rick Grimes or get a closer look at him. The belt is pretty much blending into the pants, and the belt, or the utility belt as well. There's a lot of dark colors around there, so they kind of could have done something a little bit better to make things stand out, but nothing too crazy. We can see his usual gray or beige sandy shirt that he has. You can see the blood and all the details, the dirtiness and the wrinkles. That's one thing I absolutely love from McFarlane. They are able to capture all these wrinkles in his actual movement, and especially with this pose, having him hold his arm out, you can see the flow of the lines and the creases and everything within his clothing. And taking a closer look, he does have his gun or his arm in this pose, whichever one to focus on right there. It was a little bit difficult getting that arm in, but once you kind of twist it around a bit and give it a good nudge, it will fit right in, so you don't have the gap between the arm, as you might be thinking there is, but just giving it a little good nudge will get it in there. And then getting a closer look at his head too, you can see he does have the full beard, the slicked back hair as usual, and then the stern face that we are all prone to seeing from Rick Grimes. And let's go ahead and get closer looks at everything here. There we go. I'm just gonna zoom in right there. Let me try to get, it's such a large figure, I'm trying to get the best way to manage this. I'll try to get that at an angle. So as you can see, we have a really good likeness of Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes. Let me see how I can do this. There we go. That's a little bit better. We can see the good wrinkles in the face here. The skin tone, I would say it's about the same. Not too much shading going on or any changes in it. And then going down to the neck too, we can see pretty much the same skin tone. They didn't put too much detail into the actual skin color on the face. It just seems like a little bit of dirt on the forehead and under the beard. The beard is perfect, the hair is also done very well. That's a lot of times, a lot of things that some companies miss is the hair, but this looks very realistic. You can see the lines and the waves in his hair. The beard is kind of that, I guess, patchy or bushy kind of beard that Rick does have, and the lighter brown as opposed to the hair on top of his head being the darker brown color. And then going into the arms too, you can see a lot of the dirt and the wear in the figure actually itself, but a lot of dirt, the brownish grays all over. And looking at the shirt, you can see the very dark red. It does seem, in person it does have a better look to it, but you can tell it seems like this is where, the sweat and the mix of blood and dirt and everything has piled up, as we are prone to seeing in the show. And in the shirt being the darkish beige, of course darkened from more dirt than just wearing it constantly. But it's just a great job, seeing and feeling all the textures and the creases going in it. And you can see the undershirt, they didn't, miss a detail on that. Looking at the side again, you can see the rolled up sleeves with even darker colors, probably from the under or the inside of the shirt. And going back, just again, the amazing details and likeness to the shirt, and you can see again the sweat and blood and dirt mix all over there. The utility belt, or his officer belt, going around with all the holsters. We got a larger one in the back here, and it has a different texture too. It's almost like the tiled leather texture, so that's really cool to see. And you got the smaller ones here. You have a switchblade here, and this holster is supposed to be for the revolver, but it is a little bit awkward to put it in. Let me take that out to show you if I can get that out of his hand, and I won't because it's a little bit hard to budge. But when you try putting it in, it just doesn't slide in all the way. It's a little bit sticking out. It looks kind of awkward, but doesn't matter since I'm gonna have his revolver hand posed anyway. Coming back around again with the belt, and as I said, you can get a better look at it now. The belt and the pants do really blend in together, so they don't really stand out other than the belt buckle being the silverish color. And over here we do see his watch that we are so prone or so common to wearing, or not common, but it's common to see him wearing. Let me get a closer look. They did a great job on that, getting all the details in the hand and the numbers, the silver color. I do wish they had some, maybe a little bit of shading or black highlight around the face of the watch to get it to stand out a little bit more. It just kind of all seems like one big piece, but you know, nothing too major. And then we have his knife in the other hand with a leatherish handle, the silver brush blade. There's no battle damage really. It kind of looks like there's some black smudges on it. That might just be from the paint, but no other detail in the knife. And then working down with the pants, you know, we can see the, I guess, the lighter, the sandish dirt covered on the pants. There is some, I guess, hints of dirtiness in the pants, but I think they did a much better job at the shirt with that. The pants, you can definitely see all the wrinkles from his pose and the legs, but as I said, you know, we just see a few marks of like the lighter beige or sand color as the shirt, so nothing too crazy on the detail there. And then the boots, not too much dirt, they just seem, you know, the old raggedy kind of boots. McFarlane did do a good job at capturing the, I guess, the broken, let me try to get that focused if I can. It's just hard, you know, as I said, with the dark colors, but you can feel and you can see in person the, I guess, the cracked leatherish material that they were able to capture, so that's really cool. And then just the back of the legs, again, some more sand marks. And then taking a closer look at his revolver, you know, the perfect likeness to the show. It might be a little bit brighter, cleaner than, you know, we would expect. So I guess they did a more clean look, or they just didn't apply any dirty wear and tear looks on the gun itself. But you can see the brownish holster right there, or the hilt, and then the gunmetal, light silver gunmetal color with some brushing on there. And the other side as well. So as far as accessories go, it's really the knife in his left hand, the revolver in the right hand, which those are separate pieces, and then this arm is all one piece, and the pistol or the revolver is not attached to it, so you need to put that in. And on the other arm that you see in the packaging is this one with the rifle. Let me try to see if I can take that out. That's one thing also, you know, the hands and fingers, it does get pretty tight, so you have to be careful when opening that up. But here's the rifle. You know, this thing is huge. As you can see, holding it up to Rick, it goes almost up to his chin, just about to his neck right there. And I think with the rifle they did capture a little bit more dirtiness and usage to it. You can see a lot of black and gray and sandish color scuff marks going through it. Great detail on this. You know, I love this rifle. It's just a beautiful piece. I just don't like the way they did the pose, because this is the only other hand you can put it in. So I guess if you try to, I don't know if you would be able to put it in his hand over there, but I do wish there was some other way to be able to hold it. I guess if you just sling the rifle around his arm, which I'll probably try to do that. If I get a photo gallery, you know, I'll try to get more poses out of it, because I'll have more time than from the review. But you know, getting a closer look, we see the beautiful brown wood color here, going all the way down. You see all the scuff marks. In the scope and the barrel as well, we see a lot of brownish, sandish color scuff marks. Try to get that as best as I can. Looking over there, and we can see some dirtiness in the strap as well, a lot of sandish dirtiness as well, and in the butt we see some brush marks too. Looking at the bottom, some more over here, and you know, they did a great job capturing the little details that are in this gun, both little in the minute details and the little amount of details in it. And then looking at his arm, it seems like, you know, just overall the same paint and colors. You know, looking at it over there, and this arm does rotate, so I'll get into the articulation now. It does rotate at the, I guess, upper elbow area or the tricep area. No articulation in the hands there, and that's about it for this arm. So now taking a look at the figure itself. The head does not move. This part of the arm doesn't move either, because that's where, you know, you attach it to the body. This part does move at the elbow. No hand articulation. This arm does move. It's pretty tight, back and forth, nothing too crazy. It does look really awkward with it too over there looking at it. It creates this gap between the shirt or the torso and the arm, so I think I'll just be leaving it in the one position. The wrist as well does move, nothing much, nothing too crazy, and the elbow does move at the elbow too, just a twist. So it's a lot of twisting joints, the articulation isn't crazy. The torso slightly, nothing in the legs, and the feet as well, just very slight pivots. But you do want to kind of play around with the articulation. Some of the poses or some of the way you move it might make him. To compare, I do have the Daryl Dixon 10-inch figure. As you can see, he is in the kind of bent knee position there. I can't get him to stand, as I mentioned before and in the other review, but you can see him. Whoop, come on. He stands just about shoulder height, so it does seem Daryl would be taller in the, I guess, if he was upright in the position. But I'll try to find a way to get Daryl to stand and have Rick right next to him, and then once Michonne comes out, putting Michonne on the other side. And hopefully we do get a few more people. I would love to see Herschel, Carl maybe even, and Glenn and Maggie. That'd be a great pair to have. But McFarlane's been very slow on getting these 10-inch figures out. It's been it seems like one a year essentially that they've been coming out. But that's about it. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you do get this figure. I do highly recommend this Rick Grimes figure. I was coming into this review expecting to bash it and have a lot of negativity towards it, but McFarlane has turned things around, it seems like, and let's just hope they keep it up with Michonne and future 10-inch figures. Please subscribe to my pages, follow everything, follow all my pages, and stay tuned for the next video review. Thank you all.